Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 12, episode 6, and today we meet our youth intake at Torquay United, the latest lot of new youngsters who could be the promising future of the club, and then we go away to 6th place Tottenham in the Premier League, hoping to get that one more win we need to wrap up survival for certain in the Premier League. We're in pretty poor form at the moment, so that's going to be a pretty tough challenge, but we're not going to worry about that for the moment, as we've just been thrown back into our youth intake message. I haven't had a look at it yet, so let's meet them all now. We've got the usual message, which we've had for quite a few years now, one of the most gifted players to come through the ranks in recent years. So his name is Gary Curry. Let's just find him on the top list to see what position he is. An attacking midfielder, right or centre, and it looks like he's from Scotland as well, Dalkeith to be precise. Let's go and meet the team and see what sort of standard of players we've got. I'm just hoping for a 5-star potential, and Gary Curry's 4.5, so that's certainly not too bad at all. The one problem is he's an attacking midfielder, which means we may have to revert to an asymmetric formation, but let's just go and meet him. Hope he's got a good personality and attributes. Fingers crossed, everyone. Left-footed only, an attacking midfielder, but we could retrain him in the middle or over on the right wing as an inside forward. His 1.5-star ability, 4.5 potential. He's okay personality wise, he's balanced, so we can train that up. He's very quick and agile, a decent passer of the ball, and mentally he's okay, he works pretty hard, so I'm pretty sure we've got something to work with there, and even if he doesn't quite make it at this level, he'll certainly make it as a good professional footballer. So a relatively good start to our youth intake there. Let's move down to Jay Watkin next. He's got 3.5-star potential, 1-star ability at the moment. He's a right winger, let's just see what he's like. Physically he's absolutely brilliant, a good dribbler, decent technique, not the best crosser in the world, not the best passer either, but off the ball he's okay for a 15-year-old, and he's got a fairly professional personality, so again something to work with, and I'm sure he can make it as a good professional footballer. The only other one I want to look at here, as we've got lots of players with 3-star potential, is Nathan Lee, the left back, only because he's got 1.5-star ability already, so he's much closer to his potential, and he does look fairly decent across the board, attributes of 9 or 10 in all the important areas, and he's also very good physically as well, so he'll certainly make it as a pro too. It's the one thing we always said about this youth academy, we want it to be able to pay for itself long term, to produce players who can play in our first team or move on to other clubs and have good careers, and we've certainly got a few candidates there. There's nothing to say that the other players with 3-star potential can't reach the same standard too. I've noticed there's only one more who's got 1-star ability already, so let's go and have a quick look at him. Rickson John is a young centre-half, a left-footed centre-half who's pretty decent across the board, and again I see no reason why he can't make it as a pro. We're noticing that they've got much higher starting ability than in previous years. They're all pretty much ready to play in the Vanarama regional leagues, and there's no reason we couldn't start loaning them out as soon as they reach 17. So I'm pretty happy with that one. We don't think we found any players that are going to be stars at Torquay in the future, certainly not going to be top Premier League players, but we've got a few who are going to be good pros, and I could see us getting a little bit of money out of them, as well as developing them into good players. So that's all I can really ask for. It wasn't the dream we were hoping for, but it's not a million miles away, as we produced a few good talents there. So let's get back to our schedule and see the results since you were last with me. We've been in pretty poor form in truth. We've had 5 games since the last episode against Wolves, where even though we got the win, you saw we got pretty much outplayed, and since then we've not managed to get a league win, our only one coming in extra time in the cup, at home to a championship side. So we drew 1-1 away to Brentford. That one was the closest we came to a win. Lee Rutherford missed a penalty but put the rebound in around the hour mark, and then Nasron Ledger, a former transfer target of ours, came back and scored in the 89th minute. He has made it as a good Premier League player, Ledger, developed really well, and it's a shame we couldn't have got him back in the Championship, but he's become a decent player, so fair play to him. We lost 1-0 at home to Burnley in the following game, a really disappointing performance, before a week and a half later we edged through in the FA Cup. That was an extra time goal from Lucas Bedger, an early red card for Norwich, and we still couldn't break through in 90 minutes, and we were lucky to get through against the Championship side in the end, but we'll take the win however it comes. A narrow 1-0 defeat followed away to Liverpool in the league. Again we set up with our cautious mentality, just trying to keep the score down, and Toponi got the goal that ended up getting the 3 points, but it was a really decent performance in truth. And then we did get a point on the board in our last game, this time at home to Leicester, a 1-1 draw with Kozzel getting the equaliser for us, both goals coming in the first half. They're down in a relegation battle, as are Brentford, so you could say they're relatively disappointing results, but getting a draw against them meant we maintained our gap, and it looks like we're going to be safe for another year. We've got a very difficult run in the last 2 months of the season. We've got Tottenham, United and Chelsea, as well as Everton, our bogey side. So it's going to be difficult for us to get too many more results, but fingers crossed we've done enough already. We are going to be back pretty quickly after this episode, as I do want to show you the FA Cup quarter final against Man United. We've pulled off a shock against Liverpool already, and although I think it'll probably be the end of the run, it'd be really exciting to see a quarter final for just the second time in this series. Providing we go out of that one as expected, and we are just sitting pretty in mid-table in the Premier League, we will then skip all the way through to the end of the season, as I want to make sure later in the summer we've got plenty of time left for episodes in future years where we're competing towards the top of the league. I do want to try and win a couple of trophies with Torquay. We said we wanted to take them to the top of everything, but it looks like we're going to run out of time for that, as the Championship held us back a little more than we expected. But never say never, we could yet go on an FA Cup run, and who's to say we won't win our first trophy this year? We've only got to get past Manchester United and 2 more top class sides. So let's skip a couple of days into the future. We'll be back on Super Sunday for our game against Tottenham. Fingers crossed we'll be able to keep the score down against a really good top 6 side. Okay, we're back for our Super Sunday game, and as you can see we've got a few fitness concerns, although it looks like Kozil and Lappin are both fit. Jay Taylor's not in the squad anyway, so we don't need to worry about that one. Leicester and Newcastle have drawn already today. Newcastle not doing as well as they are where we're managing them in the other series. Let's get into the team selection though and see the lineup we've put out today. We're heavy underdogs against Tottenham, so we are going to have to go defensive in this one. It's worked a couple of times already this year, so we are going to hope it will do okay today. Let's look at the 11 we've put out though, pretty much as you'd expect by now. We'll put them in order so you can see the lineup in full. We've got young Stevie Maxwell in goal, Cisse and Lonergan in the fullbacks, with Bedger and Leclerc in the middle. McDonald continues in the holding role with Lappin and Hayes in the middle, and then Aaron Kozil the wingers with Rutherford up front, who's now on a goal drought again, 4 games without a goal so far. We've had a little word with him privately, so hopefully he'll respond today, although it's going to be difficult in the next 2 matches as we're going to be playing pretty defensively. I will show you the youngsters from last year's youth intake just to show you how they're getting on in a moment. We've got Probert from 2 years ago and Darren Palmer, who we promoted to the first team, but let's get this game out of the way first. Only Michael Duncan of the January signings is on the bench. Jay Taylor doesn't quite make it, and Goretzka's not made an appearance for the club yet. So let's get into the match and see if we can keep the scoreline respectable. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Tottenham, and we can see our former fullback on loan, Courtney Otte's playing left back for Spurs, a really good player that helped get us to the Premier League, and hopefully he won't have the best of games today. We'd like him to have an off day and let Hernan get a goal or 2, and then we'll forgive him and let him have a great career. We're going to tell the lads to go out and prove a point, though we are going to go to our tactics screen, and I'm afraid we're still at the stage where we have to be boring in these games, so a cautious mentality, a slightly lower tempo, time waste all the time, be more disciplined. In transition we want to hold our shape and slow the pace down, and out of possession we're not going to prevent short goalkeeper distribution, as we don't need to defend it when they've got the ball in their own half. Let's go and deal with the tunnel interview then. We know he can set the tone. Daniel Kozil's got the armband today, only because we're missing a couple of usual suspects, and Kozil's got the best leadership skills. It's Otte with the ball at left back for Spurs. We mentioned him pre-match, so I'm sure he'll turn up with a blinding performance now, as Raphael has it on the right hand side. It deflects behind for a throw into Spurs, and hopefully that will be the end of the highlight. Just over 3 minutes gone, we're back with a Maxwell goal kick. He goes short to Lonergan Irwin and now into Hayes. We're still trying to play decent football when we've got it. It's just going to be at a much lower tempo, and we're not so worried about pressing as high. Hancock's got it in the middle. Now Tottenham are coming forward in central midfield. Not to Francesco. I'm pretty sure he scored against us last time. I remember him doing so in our last game on camera. Here's Raphael back to De Jong. That is Frankie De Jong from Ajax in real life. Into the box towards Charlton. It's headed wide, and we survive after 4 minutes at 0-0. I must say off camera, we have made some decisions about the summer. We are going to have a bit more of a revolution of the squad this year, as we get rid of some of those old players, a lot of the legends of the clubs that you probably don't want to see go. But as you've seen on camera this year, they've not really featured too much in the team, particularly in the Premier League games, though they have done okay in the FA Cup run. So we will talk about them in the last episode of the season, as we look to rejuvenate our squad. But as we did last summer, if we just find 2 or 3 top class players, maybe we won't be able able to replace them all. So it might just be a slight evolution of the squad. We will try and give a couple of the youngsters a chance, but after a few more minutes it's still 0-0 in this game, and we haven't really seen any clear-cut chances yet. We're yet to have a shot on goal, but Rutherford gets in behind there, although we've now got a warning to close someone down as Tottenham start to come forward again. Here's Charlton running off the left-hand side into James the striker. A brilliant finish and Tottenham lead 1-0. We were only able to hold them off for 7 or so minutes. A brilliant goal from Spurs, and Charlton, the left wing, is world class. And with 10 minutes gone, we're getting our first shot now as Rutherford puts a free kick over. We're straight back with the Tottenham goal kick as Badger clears it long. Raphael tries to get on the right hand side. He flicks it on, but only as far as Badger, and hopefully we can now create an attack from the back. He lays it into Hayes the playmaker. Back to Lonergan Irwin, and Hayes plays a 1-2 with him. Down the line to Kozzel, but look how deep our wingers are. We're not able to get out of our defensive zone. Tottenham pressing us really high up the pitch. Hayes has kept it and gone back to Irwin, but how we've still got possession I don't know. Lappin gets it into Kozzel. Hayes finds Rutherford, and we've actually got out quite well now. Here comes Kozzel with space to run into. Towards the edge of the box and goes for the shot. It's a brilliant powerful effort, but it's straight at Badger, who holds comfortably. 15 gone and we're back with another corner. Kozzel with a poor one, which is headed by De Jong. Here comes Hernan Air though, being forced backwards at the moment, and in the end he goes all the way back to Irwin on halfway, who finds his fellow fullback Bala in towards Leclerc. He gets it up to Badger. Now Hayes on halfway. We're not really going anywhere. We're just keeping possession and we finally lose it. James finds the central midfielder and now he's running to Raphael. He tries to deliver it, deflects back to him, and Lonergan Irwin eventually clears. It's a bit of a long highlight and I'm not sure what we're seeing. We've seen a misdirected corner and a block cross so far. We probably could have come back at this point. Now Hancock's coming forward on the right. He delivers to Charlton, hits the crossbar, and Maxwell grasps it at the second attempt. We're straight back with another highlight. It's an onslaught from Tottenham. Don't forget we're only on extended highlights, nothing comprehensive, but unfortunately we're still seeing this many attacks as Tottenham really dominate the game. James shoots from the edge of the box again, but this time he's not quite so lucky as the ball flies over the bar. 20 minutes gone, it remains 1-0 to Spurs, but it's fair to say that they deserve it so far. 25 minutes gone, it's Badger with a free kick on halfway. He finds Hayes and plays a 1-2 with him. McDonald back to the centre half again. We're really showing no urgency to get forward, even though we haven't changed our tactic when attacking. Lappin's got the ball in the middle. Badger hoofs it long, it's absolutely aimless, but the header away's poor to Hayes. Rutherford loses it up front. He's in one of those streaks with low confidence again, and unfortunately that means he can't score for love nor money, and it means he doesn't control the ball well most of the time either. At least earlier in the season he was still creating goals, getting assists on the board. This time he's contributing absolutely nothing, and it may be a chance for our lonely wonder kid to get a go. Badger's on the end of a corner, but he's just beaten to it, and now Spurs can counter-attack with a 3-on-3. They're flying men forward, and now they're in through the middle. Beats Maxwell, it's 2-0, and what an easy finish that was. Conceding a goal from our own corner, it's all pretty embarrassing at Premier League level. Spurs are dominant, it's 2-0 with half an hour gone, and this could be any scoreline if they want it to be. We're sitting back, but it's not making any difference. We got caught 3-on-3 there, and Spurs are still catching us out on the counter-attack. Raphael switches it to Charlton, into the box and Irwin heads away. Straight down for Raphael, who puts it over the bar, and we're going to have to be a bit more radical here. Our fullbacks are going to sit defensively as we're getting caught out in the wide areas so frequently. So we've changed them both to fullbacks on defend, and fingers crossed that'll make a bit of a difference. 10 minutes to the break and we're back with Talasise. Not sure what he's doing on the left hand side. Maybe we'd come back from a throw in. Leclerc gets the ball on the edge of the box, and that makes me think it was a set piece even more, as he's not normally that high up the pitch. It flies over the bar though and the chance goes begging. It remains 2-0 to Tottenham, and deservedly so. It's Charlton on the left-hand side for Spurs as they try to create one more chance before half-time. 30 seconds plus stoppage time to go, and the ball switched over to Hancock on the right. He delivers to the back post, Charlton's up, the left winger beating everyone in the air, but he puts it over the bar comfortably, and it is going to be 2-0 at the break. I say that as Spurs have the ball again, there's still 20 seconds of stoppage time to go. Maybe we shouldn't get too complacent, as they have been completely dominant in this game. It's into Charlton, a brilliant ball from Raphael, but he wastes that chance when he really should have scored. At the break it's 2-0 and I'm a little bit in two minds here. Do we completely go for it in the second half and just see if we get beat 5 or 6? Or do I accept this is one of the games we're going to lose and just tell the lads to prove a point and try and keep the score to 2? So we're going to keep it defensive for now. A few of the lads are motivated by that chat, and if we're still at 2-0 with 20 minutes to go, then maybe we will go an all-out attack. It's Kozil on the left-hand side. Can we get one back early? He's tried to attack in towards Rutherford, but good defending by the Spurs centre-half, and it's cleared away for them comfortably. It's Otte with a throw on the left-hand side. Now 6 minutes into the second half, De Jong flicks it on. What's Maxwell doing? Back to James and Charlton. The second save was much better by Maxwell, but this was all created by his first attempt. Kozil can bring it away, and we've got a 3-on-2, though look how quickly Spurs have got men back, far quicker than we've supported them in attack. 10 minutes gone in the second half, and although it's a slightly brighter start, it is still 2-0 to Spurs. They've robbed possession from Hernan in the middle as we're back again. Here they come in central midfield. The second goal scorer into Charlton, runs into the box, a brilliant save by Maxwell, and Tada Cisse hacks it away aimlessly. Back with Spurs again as they build from centre half. De Jong gets it inside to Charlton. He's running outside to Courtney Otte, who has had a very good game today. They've got 3 men in the middle and they're just dominating it there as De Jong hits a shot straight into the arms of Maxwell. He's been the best player on the pitch for us, despite the fact we're 2-0 down, and that shows you just how much Spurs have dominated the game. 13 shots on target in just over an hour. Kozil's in on the left though, his shot's blocked, and Diakabi hacks it away, and we've got a throw in on the left hand side. Just a quarter of the game to go, it remains 2-0, and I think we're going to have to make a couple of changes now. Talasisse's had a poor game, he's anxious and on a yellow card, so Nico Williams comes in for him. It's one of the things I really want to do in the summer, try and find a way to get Richard Quirk back, and we'll let Talasisse go, and it should be a similar amount of money. Dimitri Lapin's not had the best game either, so we're going to bring on Tom Allingham for him, and then we've got a choice of Hernan or Lee Rutherford. I think we're going to take Hernan off in this one, just because he keeps getting robbed in possession. And none of our strikers are going to get a chance in this game, so if we leave Lee Rutherford up front and he doesn't manage to get a goal, there's no real harm in this one. So Lindstrom's on the right hand side, and let's see if we can keep the score down to 2. We've demanded a bit more from the lads, a few of them are focused, but we're back with another corner for Spurs. De Jong's overhit it this time. Into the edge of the box, they've got a chance with De Jong, rattles the crossbar and it's hacked away by Beja. Now Jimmy Lindstrom can come forward in the counter. He's got Lee Rutherford running off him, but there's not really many other options, and now we've got a warning to close De Jong down, a minute after he rattled the woodwork. It's 10 to go again, De Jong's got the ball in the middle, lays it off for Kiembe, brilliant save by Maxwell. He's had an absolutely brilliant game, and he's really been a great performer for us in these first 2 league campaigns. I dread to think where we'd be without him. We've hacked away another corner as far as Hayes, and he's got it forward to Rutherford on halfway. There's no one really up there, but he holds it up well and finds Leclerc, who gets it wide to Lindstrom. A wild tackle by the Spurs fullback, but it's delivered into the back post. There's no one capable of heading it in there though, and maybe we should have brought on Duncan for that. It's Kozil on the left though. We continue to pile forward, and this is the first little bit of concerted pressure we've had. McDonald's being forced backwards now though, but he does well to win a free kick in the end. I just scrolled down to see where we were in the league. No one else is playing today, but De Jong's just scored a brilliant free kick from the edge of the box, and with 3 minutes to go, it's 3-0 to Spurs, and we can't really begrudge them that scoreline. They've absolutely dominated this match, and although it has been a bit harsh based on the last 20 minutes or so, we can't complain over the course of 90 minutes. Edouard gets it back to the central midfielder as Spurs come forward chasing a fourth. Into Notre Francesco, up to Edouard again, into James the other striker, looking to add to his goal tally, but his shot's blocked. De Jong gets it wide for Hancock, still a world-class player in there, De Jong, and it deflects off Lonergan Irwin for a corner. We've just got to try and hang on for 3. One of our heaviest defeats since being a Premier League side, up there with our Everton beatings in the last 2 years, but Maxwell comes and claims the corner well to keep it at 3 and relatively respectable. Against the top 6 side, we're not going to complain about this too much. We're still 14 points clear of relegation, and it looks like we're going to be safe for another year. We've kept the score down and our goal difference is relatively good, and that could be relatively important as it comes to deciding 1 or 2 mid-table positions. 10 seconds to go, we're back with a Spurs goal kick. Badger clues it long, and it's as far as Lonergan Irwin, our left back. He lays it into Beja, the lad's just seeing out the last few seconds. Leclerc gets it into the substitute Allingham, and it's wide to the other one in Jimmy Lindstrom. He's charging at the defence, and if Rutherford could nick a late goal, that would certainly make this game worthwhile, but unfortunately his pass goes awry, and And the final whistle goes. It's a 3-0 victory for Spurs, a dominant display. Frankie de Jong just as good as he was in real life. We told the lads they put in a good effort, just as Stuart Jelling recommended, and they've all reacted negatively to it, which isn't the best for this season, but does show they feel they should be competing better against the top sides. A really good sign for the future, and hopefully with 2 or 3 more stars coming in next summer, these lads will be able to compete in these games. Let's go and quickly see what the media have said about the game. I do feel we're only 1 or 2 signings away from being a top half side, but we just haven't got the ammunition to compete against the top 6 at the moment, so we have to set up defensively and have games like that. We remain 14 points clear, but Villa have got a game in hand, so fingers crossed they won't be able to catch us and we'll be able to stay safely in the Premier League for another year. Let's quickly see the media report. Tottenham coasted past us again, we can't argue. Frankie de Jong is absolutely world class, and at 32 he's had a brilliant career at Spurs and PSG before that. Apparently we were hapless and well beaten, 5 matches in the league without winning, although 2 of those were draws, so that's a little bit harsh. We'll deal with the press conference off camera in a minute, but as you know we'll be back in just 3 games time. A big quarter final in the FA Cup, at home to Manchester United. Can we cause a shock in that one? It'd be a brilliant time to get back to form, ahead of a run-in in the Premier League and potentially a chance at winning a trophy. So I hope you'll join me again in that one, but do let me know down in the comments what you thought of that youth intake. Do you think Gary Curry can make it at Torquay? I'm not entirely convinced, but maybe you guys think differently, and do you think we should retrain him in central midfield? As we start to head towards the summer, I don't want to be disrespectful and talk about the players that will be leaving, but you can let me know which positions you think we should be looking to improve. There's obviously 2 or 3 I've got in mind, but I'm interested to know your thoughts on it, as we've got another week or so before the summer transfer special. I think we're just about safe in the Premier League now, so we can focus on the summer, but we have got a big FA Cup tie coming up, so we will be completely focused on that one next time. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one with Torquay United and our Journeyman series The Head Coach. We're heading towards the end of season 11 in that one, and we're competing on various fronts in that series, so do pop over and check that one out if you haven't seen it already. There's also weekly content from my Snooker 19 career every Friday at 4:30. The next episode of that one will be out tomorrow, and we've got a bit of a special occasion as we're playing in our first ever ranking semi-final. And keep your eyes peeled this week for content from Cricket 19, the official game of the Ashes. It was released last week and it had a few issues on the Xbox edition, but those seem to have been resolved now, so there should be plenty of content coming from the game. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time for another big episode as we play in an FA Cup quarter final.